On June 14th, Donald Trump, the oldest person to ever be sworn in as president, who is clearly showing his age these days, will be turning 79 years old. On that very same day, June 14th, we will also be celebrating Flag Day here in the United States, and it also happens to be the 250th anniversary of the United States Army. And as everybody knows, Donald Trump has been wanting to hold a big giant military parade featuring military vehicles since the year 2017, when he went over to France for Bastille Day, was so impressed he said, why can't we do it here? But during his first administration, when he first wanted to do this, everybody around him, because he didn't know to only hire yes men and women, everybody around him told him, no, this is not just dumb, this is insanely expensive, we're not going to do it. So he didn't get his big grand birthday parade, because it has nothing to do with the military anniversary, it has nothing to do with Flag Day. This is Donald Trump wanting a big old birthday boy celebration so that he can feel like Kim Jong-un. That's the whole point of it. Except this time around, there's nobody around him to tell him no. And Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, is already working on plans to send the military vehicles and 50 fighter jets and thousands of troops to march in front of Donald Trump as they salute him to make him feel special on his birthday. And now we have a price tag. But technically, that's not even true. We have initial estimates to what part of this is going to cost the American taxpayers, because we're the ones who will be footing the bill. And this administration that says they are hyper-focused on waste, fraud, and abuse is now saying, yeah, it's going to cost $45 million. But if we actually do a parade, which is the whole point of it, it's going to cost more. So they compiled an estimate that doesn't even include the actual event. But right off the top, they said, hey, just to get these things here is going to cost us $45 million. If we want them to move, which they do and they will, it's going to cost more than $45 million. And that doesn't even include the damage that will be done to infrastructure. You see, the streets of Washington, D.C., in fact, pretty much all streets throughout the United States, are not built for military tanks to drive on. That is not something that city planners had to take into consideration when they were building cities across the United States, right? Like, we don't need to reinforce these roads because what are the odds we're going to have a tank driving on them? So they have electrical lines running against it in pipes that will shatter the second a tank drives over them. There are sewage lines. There are sewers. There's internet and phone and cable and all of that running underneath streets that will be destroyed, causing massive damage not just to the road itself, but to local businesses and homes, lost productivity. So the infrastructure costs are going to be tens of millions of dollars. The lost productivity, the economic losses around the area are going to be tens of millions of dollars. And by the time this is all over, we're going to be looking at a price tag of well over $100 million just so Donald Trump can feel like the special birthday boy. Is this what happens when you grow up and nobody ever celebrates your birthday? Like, nobody ever shows up, nobody gets you any good presents, you don't get to wear the hat and blow out the candles? Is this what happens? Because I'm starting to think that all throughout Donald Trump's life, nobody made a big enough deal about his birthday. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe they made such a big deal about his birthday that this is the only way he can top those massive parties he's had. Either way, I think we should look at it as he's also buying friends. Nobody actually wants to show up to his birthday party. Nobody genuinely likes the guy that's around him. They pretend to, sure. But now they have to. It's his birthday. You know, as I've repeatedly said, dude, you could rent a bounce house, like water slide, double water slide that lands in like a pool. Those are like $500 a day. Like, that would be a lot cheaper. So somebody near Donald Trump, get him a bounce house, get him an inflatable water slide, whatever you need to do. He'll have just as much fun on that. I promise you, probably more. But we don't need 25 tanks thundering through the streets of Washington, D.C., 6,500 troops, 150 other military vehicles, and 50 fighter jets. That's the list of crap Not calling soldiers crap, didn't mean to add them to that, but that is the list of just military equipment that they're going to have. We don't need 50 fighter jets flying overhead like, wow, that was great. Yeah, 2 seconds of fun. 50 tanks? Yeah, say goodbye to the infrastructure in Washington, D.C. And again, all of this is being done so that Donald Trump can feel like the most specialist boy in the world on his birthday. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.